my 7th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of an ab exercise, and at least 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 39. But that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. Of course, you don't have to do the entire challenge. If you just want to do today's workout with me, fantastic. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to hear a little bit more about what the challenge is, how it works, how you can participate, where to begin, and if you would like to see today's exercises briefly demonstrated and explained, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So there is a playlist for this challenge. I'm going to link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked right on the screen at the very end of the video just to make sure that you cannot miss it. So click on the link and save the playlist. Even if this is the first you are hearing about the challenge, you don't know what it is, and you are not sure whether or not you want to do it, just save the playlist anyway so that when and if you decide you want to participate in the challenge, you will have all of the workouts readily available to you, and then all you have to do is just follow along with the playlist. It's super easy to follow along. But basically, this challenge is exactly what I said. It is at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of abs, and at least 40 push-ups a day. Every single day except Sundays for 40 days. That is the challenge in a nutshell. So day 1 of the challenge was Wednesday, February 17th, and day 40 is tomorrow. So that means that my challenge is going to be over tomorrow. But if this is the first you're hearing about the challenge and you want to go back and start on day 1, that's fine. You can start next Wednesday. This is a 40-day challenge, and it is designed to start on a Wednesday and end on a Saturday. So as long as you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, then everything will fall into place, and it's super easy to follow along. You just follow along with the playlist and do one new workout each day. Sundays we rest, but then that first week you're going to work out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's your first 4 days of the challenge. And then every week following that, you rest on Sunday, and then you work out Monday through Saturday, okay? There's 6 new workouts a week, every single week for 6 weeks in a row. Now, if that sounds like too much to commit to, just know this. If you are the one doing it, then it's your challenge. So you do it in whatever way works for you. If you do not want to commit to doing a 40-day challenge, I hear you. 40 days is a long, tough challenge, but maybe you could commit to doing the first 20 days of the challenge with me. Or maybe you want to do the final 20 days of the challenge. Maybe you could commit to doing every other day of the challenge. That's fine. You do it in whatever way works for you. And if you don't want to commit to doing 160 reps every day, then maybe your challenge can be 80 reps a day or 40 reps a day. 40 reps every day would just be 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of an ab exercise, and 10 push-ups. So decide what's a realistic goal for you and then make the commitment. I promise you that making the commitment is the hardest part. Once you use decisive language, you decide how you are going to participate in this challenge in your way. Making that commitment is the most important step. Instead of saying, oh, this sounds interesting, so maybe I will start next Wednesday. I'll start with day 1 next Wednesday. Let me look at my schedule. Next Wednesday, I'm really busy. It's a packed schedule. I have meetings all day long. I'm going to be running around doing errands and traveling. I have to pick the kids up here and drop them off there. I'll try to find time on Wednesday. I'll try to find time to get these reps done. That's not going to cut it. Because as soon as you say you'll try, you are giving yourself an out, and I can almost guarantee that you will take it. So next Wednesday comes, and you didn't sleep all the night before, you're tired, and you're really busy. You do have a jam-packed schedule that day. You do have meetings all day long. You're traveling. You got the kids. You got errands. You got chores. You got all these projects you're working on. Whatever it is, all of that stuff is going to be in your way. And you said you would try to find the time, but you couldn't because you were too busy. So you did what you said you were going to do. You said you would try to find the time. You tried, and you were unsuccessful. So you didn't start your challenge. Whereas if you would have removed that try and you would have said, this sounds interesting. I don't think I can do 160 reps every day, but I think I can commit to doing 80 reps a day. That's 20 squats, 20 lunges, 20 reps of abs, and 20 push-ups. I can commit to doing 80 reps a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. That's gonna be my challenge. I'm doing it my way. That's gonna be my challenge. And I'm gonna start next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is gonna be my day one. So I'm excited, okay? I'm doing this, let me check my schedule. Well, all of those things are still going to be true. All of those obstacles are still going to be there. You're still going to be tired. You're still going to be busy. You're still going to have a packed schedule. But instead of trying to find the time to do the challenge, you made a commitment to do the challenge. You made a commitment to start with day one next Wednesday. So you will see that once you make that commitment, an amazing thing happens in your brain. It's like there's a little switch that gets flipped, and you are immediately going to go from excuse finding mode to problem solving mode. So all of those obstacles are real, they're really there, and those are valid reasons why it's going to be more challenging to get your reps done. But when you make the commitment that you're going to do it, you are immediately going to stop using those obstacles as an excuse to not do your reps. And instead, you are going to start solving those problems. You are going to start finding ways that you can get your reps done, and you will get your reps done in spite of those obstacles. So again, you can spread out your reps randomly throughout the day. So if your challenge is 80 reps a day, that means you have to do a total of 20 squats, 20 lunges, 20 reps of abs, and 20 push-ups. Any way you want to get those reps done is fine. So I like to incorporate my daily reps into a structured workout, and I share that workout with you every single day. But if you don't have time to do a structured workout, or maybe you're a beginner and it's still too difficult to do all of your reps at once, you can just spread them out throughout your day. You don't have to do a workout at all. So if your commitment is to do 80 reps a day, well, you could get up in the morning and first thing do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. It can be any variations of those 4 exercises you want. And then you just have to repeat that once more throughout the course of your day. So you could do it again after lunch, or maybe you could do it when you get home from work, or maybe just do it once more before bed, and there's your 80 reps, okay? And if you're committing to do the full 160 reps with me, then you can do that 4 times throughout your day. So you could do it first thing in the morning when you get up. You could do it again after lunch, again after you get home from work, and again before bed. There's your 160 reps. So any way you want to get those reps done is fine. Maybe every time you walk down the hall to get a drink of water, you could sneak in 4 walking lunges. Maybe every time before you walk into the kitchen, you can say, I'm going to stop and do 5 squats every time before I walk into the kitchen. Keep track of how many times you do that. And when you hit either your 20 reps of squats or your 40 reps of squats for the day, whatever your commitment is, then you've met your requirement to participate in the challenge as far as squats goes. So just spread out your reps randomly throughout the day if that works better for you. But I promise the hardest part is just making that commitment. So it all starts with saving the playlist, first of all. So click on the link in the iCard, save the playlist, and then just start by watching the day 1 video so that you'll see what's in store for you on day 1. And then decide what is a realistic goal for you. Decide what your challenge is going to look like. It can look exactly like mine if you want it to, but if you're the one doing it, it's your challenge. So decide what that is going to look like for you. Make the commitment. Use decisive language. And then when you are ready to begin your challenge, just make sure that you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, and there you go. You're doing it, okay? So once you have made the commitment, I'm telling you, like, stepping your foot to the side and bending your knee, that's the easy part. It's making that commitment that is the biggest obstacle that you are going to have to overcome for this entire challenge, I promise you. And that's not to say that the challenge is easy. This is a tough challenge. It's a long, tough challenge. The workouts are difficult, and I'm not saying that you're never going to struggle with motivation, but I'm saying that once you make the commitment, the following through part is a lot easier than you might think. So if you're an absolute beginner, you may think that you still can't do this challenge. Even if I'm telling you you don't have to do all 40 days, and even if I'm telling you you don't have to do all 160 reps every day, and even if I'm telling you you can spread out your reps randomly however you want to, you may still think, if you're an absolute beginner, that this challenge is not for you. But yes, it is. I promise you that if you are an absolute beginner, you can do this challenge with me. And last year, I went out of my way to prove that to you. So this is my 7th year in a row doing the challenge. Last year was my 6th year in a row doing this challenge, and last year I went out of my way to ensure that this challenge, all 40 days of this challenge, was absolutely accessible and doable for day 1 beginners. So even if you are in terrible shape and you don't own a single piece of fitness equipment, you've never done a workout before a day in your life, and you don't even know how to do a squat, and you don't think you can do a single push-up, so how could you possibly do this challenge? Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to put another link up here in the iCard. This is the link for last year's beginner playlist. So click on this link. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked on the end screen. So you cannot miss it. Click on the link. Last year was my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, so it will say 6th annual slap challenge. Save that playlist from year 6 of the challenge. That is our beginner playlist. And then I just want you to start by watching that day 1 video. So I'm not asking you to commit to anything just yet. All I'm asking you to do, if you're a beginner, is 3 things. I'm asking you to click on the link in the iCard. I'm asking you to save the playlist from year 6. And number 3, I'm asking you to just watch that day 1 video. The video I shared on day 1 of the challenge last year is going to explain everything you could ever possibly want to know about this challenge, what it is. I went into the origins of the challenge. I explained why I started doing this challenge for myself back in 2020. I never intended to share it with anyone when I started doing it, but it grew into what it is today. So you'll learn all about that. And I also talked a lot about all of the different aspects of this challenge, because there are actually a lot of things that we are looking to accomplish with this challenge, and it's so much more than just learning how to do a squat or learning that you can do a push-up. It's so much more than just building strength. There is a mental health component to this challenge, and I talked all about that in that day 1 video from last year. I also explained to you all of the different ways that you can participate in this challenge if you don't want to do all 40 days of the challenge, or if you can't do 160 reps every day. And I explained and demonstrated how to do your squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups with the correct form. I also provided tons of beginner modifications that I promise you can do. So if you think you can't do abs because you can't get down on the mat, you can do standing abs. And if you think you can't do push-ups because the only beginner modification you've ever seen for push-ups is knee push-ups and you can't do those, well, there are other push-up modifications that I promise you can do. You can do wall push-ups. You can do push-ups off of your kitchen counter. So there are standing options for abs and push-ups. You don't need to get down onto the ground to do any of these exercises. So please, again, if you're a beginner, do these 3 things for me. Click on the link in the iCard, save the playlist from year 6, and just begin by watching that day 1 video. I'm asking you to please give me an opportunity to convince you that this challenge is for you and you can do it. And then again, whenever you're ready to make that commitment, use decisive language, and then just make sure that you're starting with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, regardless of your fitness level, regardless of which playlist you're following along with. The challenge is always designed as a 40-day challenge. Whether or not you do all 40 days is up to you, but the challenge is always designed as a 40-day challenge, and the challenge is always meant to start on a Wednesday. So regardless of which playlist you're following along with, it works the same. It's always 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And the challenge always starts on a Wednesday. So just start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. And again, from there, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. It is super easy to follow along, I promise. And you won't be doing the challenge alone. I will be there with you every step of the way. I will be there every day doing the workouts with you. I will be there every day explaining and demonstrating how to do each exercise with the correct form. I will be there every day to provide you with beginner modifications. And even though my challenge ends tomorrow, if you are planning on starting your challenge next Wednesday, that's fine. Even if you are doing the challenge this year after my challenge is complete, even if you are following along with last year's workouts, All you have to do, if you have any questions or you need help along the way, is comment on the video and I will still be here. I am still here to guide you through the challenge, regardless of when your challenge begins or what your challenge looks like or which year's playlist you're following along with. I am here to guide you through the challenge. I will be here to support you and encourage you along the way. I can help to motivate you if you need help with that. I will be here to answer any and all questions that you have. So please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. But if you are an absolute beginner, I'm going to strongly encourage you to save last year's playlist. Begin by watching that day one video and then just make the commitment. Decide what is a realistic goal for you. Decide what your challenge is going to look like and then commit to doing it. Use decisive language, get rid of the tries, get rid of the maybes, and then when you're ready to begin, just know that I will be here so you are not doing it alone. Now, if you are following along with this year's workouts, I have been assuming that you're at more of an intermediate level. So if you're a beginner, I recommend following along with last year's playlist, but I know that not all beginners are automatically at the same level necessarily just because they're beginners. So if you are a beginner, I'm not like banishing you from this year's challenge. You may still be able to do the workouts the way I'm doing them this year, but it's also possible that you may need to be applying equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications while you're watching me do something else. So make the decision that is best for you. But for the most part, I have been assuming that if you're following along with me this year, year 7, that you are at more of an intermediate level. And by that I mean, I've been assuming that you have access to some basic pieces of fitness equipment, like at least a set of dumbbells and an exercise mat, for example. Now, I have been providing equipment-free substitutions for every single one of these workouts, and I will do that today as well. So you don't necessarily need to own any fitness equipment to follow along with this year's workouts, but I have been assuming that you are at more of an intermediate level. So that also means that I am assuming that you basically understand how to do your squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups with the correct form. So even though we have been going over how to do the exercises correctly during the tutorial before each workout, I haven't been going into very much detail about how to do the exercises with the proper form. And I also have not been as diligent as I was last year about providing beginner modifications for each and every exercise. So if you are unclear about how to do any of the exercises that I'm about to show you, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, if you need to see beginner modifications for any of the exercises, I'm always here to help. So please just ask. That goes for today's workout, and that goes for any of the workouts off of this year 7 playlist. Now, if you are really advanced, then the workouts we are doing this year for the challenge might not push you very hard. So if you want workouts that are really going to challenge you, if you are in great shape, you have excellent stamina, you definitely have access to some basic pieces of fitness equipment, especially a jump rope. Jump rope would be very, very helpful if you want to follow along with the year 5 playlist. The workouts that we did for year 5 of the challenge were much more advanced. So I'm going to put a link up here for the year 5 playlist. And again, that year 5 playlist will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked again at the very end of the video, right on the screen at the end of the video. So year 5 is our advanced playlist. So all 3 playlists for this challenge, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, all 3 of those playlists are linked in the iCard. All 3 of those playlists are linked in the description box down below the video, and all 3 of those playlists will be linked on the end screen. So especially if you are advanced, I'm going to recommend that you save all 3 playlists, and then you can just kind of bounce around between the playlists depending on your needs on any given day. So what to expect from the year 5 workouts, they were much longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. We were doing at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of abs, and at least 40 push-ups with every single one of those workouts. But a lot of times we were doing more than just those 40 reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We were also doing exercises other than just squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups in a lot of those workouts. I was typically adding weight to most of those workouts, whether it was dumbbells or my sandbag or a medicine ball. We were also incorporating about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio right into most of those workouts. So if you have a little bit more time to dedicate to your workout each day and you want workouts that really are going to challenge you, then you might want to follow along with the year 5 playlist. But remember, you don't have to stick with the same playlist. So regardless of your fitness level, you can bounce around between all 3 playlists. So you do not have to stick with the same playlist for the entire challenge. You do not have to go in order. The workouts are labeled days 1 through 40, but you do not have to go in order through the playlist. So on any given day, so let's say you're really advanced and you're capable of doing those really tough, long, challenging workouts that we did in year 5. But today, you're not feeling well, you're really tired, you're traveling, maybe you're incredibly pressed for time or you don't have access to any equipment. Well, then today's day 39, okay? So what you could do is just check out the day 39 workout from last year's challenge. Last year was our beginner challenge, so you're guaranteed not to need any equipment whatsoever. And if you're in really good shape, you are going to be able to do almost all of the workouts from last year's challenge in under like 10 minutes. So they're still great workouts. There's still, you'll still be able to, meet your requirement to participate in the challenge. It's just that they're shorter and they're simpler. And if you're in really great shape, they're not going to be very strenuous for you. So that is a very good option to have on a day where you're not feeling well, or you don't have any equipment, or you're just really pressed for time. But the same thing applies if you're following along with this year's playlist, because you consider yourself to be not really advanced necessarily, but not a beginner, more of an intermediate level. But let's say you start the challenge on day 1, and we get to day 25, day 30, day 35, and you're starting to think, wow, this is really working. I'm starting to feel a lot stronger, and now I'm really committed to this home workout thing. You just bought a set of dumbbells, you just bought a jump rope, whatever it is, and you have a little bit of extra time today. It's day 35, and I feel like I'm ready to start really pushing myself a little harder. Well, in that case, you can check out the day 35 workout from year 5 of the challenge. But again, you don't have to do the day 35 workout on day 35. So on any given day that you have a little more time and you want to push yourself a little harder, you can check out any of the workouts from the year 5 playlist. And the same thing applies. Maybe you've been following along with the intermediate playlist, but there comes a day where you don't have the equipment that I'm using, or you just don't like the workout I'm doing. You don't have a lot of time, or whatever it is, and you feel like you just need something that's a little bit scaled back. Then you can do any of the workouts off of the year 6 playlist. You can do the workout from the corresponding day from last year, but remember, you can do any of the workouts off of that year 6 playlist on any given day that you need a little less of a challenge, you don't want to exert yourself too much, or you don't have a lot of time, you don't have equipment, whatever it is. So on any given day, you can do any of the workouts off of any of these 3 playlists, but you don't even have to choose a workout off of the playlists. It can be any workout that happens to contain at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of abs, and at least 40 push-ups. So any workout in the whole world that you find on YouTube or anywhere else that meets those requirements is fine. It doesn't have to be one of my workouts. You can write your own workout, or again, remember, you don't even have to do a workout. You can spread out your reps randomly throughout the course of your day. As long as you're getting your reps done, that is what matters. That, and that you're doing them with the correct form. So any way you want to get your reps done is fine. But that's it. That is the challenge. So the challenge ends tomorrow. This is our last workout per se, our last new workout of the challenge. And then tomorrow we are going to repeat the exact same workout we did on day 1, so that we can see the results of all of our hard work. We can see how much stronger we've gotten and how much faster we are able to complete those reps tomorrow. as compared to our day 1 score. So after 40 days of consistent effort, we are finally going to get to see the results of all of our hard work tomorrow. And that's how the challenge works. Your day 1 workout is always the same as your day 40 workout. Or if you're doing 20 days, your day 1 workout will be the same as your day 20 workout, or your day, you get it. So that's it though. That is how the challenge works. So hopefully that is all clear. So remember, I am here to answer questions. So if anything is unclear, if you have questions about how the challenge works and you're unsure of where to begin, maybe you're not quite certain what your fitness level is, and so you don't really know which playlist you should be following along with, or if you're having any trouble with the links for the playlist, just ask questions and I will do what I can to help. But that is plenty about the challenge for today. Let's go ahead and get into the variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups that we are doing for today's workout. So you can see that I have a set of dumbbells here. For reference, and for reference only, these are 10-pound dumbbells. That is a good weight for me. It's going to challenge me today, but you may need to use something lighter than that. You may need to use something heavier than that. That just depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It depends on what you have available to you, and of course it depends on how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weights and make the decision that is best for you. If you do not have dumbbells, then you can absolutely use household items. Last year for this workout, we were holding on to a couple of water bottles. So a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight will absolutely work. You could fill them with water. You might be able to make them a little bit heavier if you fill them with something like uncooked rice or dried beans or lentils or kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, or maybe those little decorative pebbles. If you want to take your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail today, maybe you could fill them with sand or dirt, or maybe you can even just find a couple of rocks that you can hold on to. Pretty much anything will work for weight, as long as you can find something that you're able to maintain a secure grip on. And as long as you're not going to drop it and injure yourself or break something and make a mess, then pretty much anything will work for weight. So just get creative and use what you've got. If you have absolutely nothing that is going to work for weight, or you just don't want to add weight to the workout, that's fine. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. But that's all I'm going to be using for today, is just a set of dumbbells. Other than that, the only thing you're going to need is something soft beneath you for our ab exercise, or if you do push-ups from your knees, you'll want something soft beneath your knees. So an exercise mat or a yoga mat is ideal, but if you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. You could also probably use something like a throw pillow or a seat cushion, or maybe one of those little kneeling pads that they sell in the gardening section at like Dollar Tree. They're super cheap. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything, but I'm going to be using my jump rope mat because it's nice and thick. So I like using that out here on this concrete, but a yoga mat will probably be fine if you have one. Again, a towel might even suffice, but you'll want something soft beneath you for abs and push-ups, but that's it. So first of all, before we get into the exercises that we're doing today, I just want to let you know that the exercises we're doing today are different than what we did last year. Typically, more often than not, the workouts are basically the same from year to year, but just with the difficulty level either increased or decreased, depending on whether it's our beginner workout, intermediate workout, or advanced workout. But this workout is really not the same as what we did last year. So if you're a beginner, last year's workout is probably going to be better for you. So you have two options. You can follow along with this workout, in which case you'll most likely need to apply the beginner modifications that I'm going to show you, or the equipment-free modifications that I'm going to show you, and you may or may not need to apply beginner modifications to the exercises. So you can do that, but you also could just follow along with last year's day 39 workout. It's a different workout. The exercises are a little bit simpler. So, and also we're going to be doing extra reps today, which we didn't do last year. So if you're a beginner, I'm going to recommend that you click away now. So I will put the link up here for last year's day 39 workout. Again, I am not banishing you. You can stay here if you so choose. You can watch the tutorial and then decide if you want to do the workout with me, or you can just decide I'm gonna do the beginner workout. So that is up to you, but you can click on that link and that will take you to last year's day 39 workout. Or again, you can do any of the workouts off of last year's playlist if you're a beginner. But I am going to be starting with push-ups today. And I'm going to be holding on to my dumbbells while I do my push-ups. So if your dumbbells are not flat on the bottom, see my dumbbells are hex dumbbells, that means they're flat on the bottom. So when I am down here in my plank pose and holding on to my dumbbells while I'm in a plank pose and while I'm doing push-ups, these are not going to roll around on me. So if your dumbbells are rounded on the ends, I know that people do push-ups on rounded dumbbells. It is up to you what level of risk you are comfortable taking, but for the record, I would prefer that you modify this exercise so that your hands are flat on the floor or the ground while you're doing your push-ups, because I don't want your rounded dumbbells to roll around on you and cause you to fall. I don't want anyone getting injured. The same thing applies if you are using household items for weight, like water bottles or shampoo bottles. I do not recommend holding onto anything but flat dumbbells for this exercise. So if you are using household items or if your dumbbells are rounded on the ends, I recommend modifying this exercise, and I'll show you that modification in just a minute. But I'm going to be holding on to my dumbbells while I do my first push-up. And then these are basically pike toe tap push-ups, but I'm going to be moving one dumbbell with each rep. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to start holding onto both of my dumbbells, and I'm going to do a push-up from this position. Now, I'm going to lift my hips, and as I do that, I'm going to pick up one dumbbell, and I'm going to bring the dumbbell across my body and set it down in front of my opposite foot. Then I'm going to return to my plank pose. So now I'm holding onto one dumbbell, and my other hand is flat on the ground. Then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So I'm going to do my push-up from here with one hand holding the dumbbell and one hand flat on the ground. Then I'm going to lift my hips, bring the dumbbell back and place it in front of the opposite foot, then return to my plank pose. Then I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of bringing the dumbbell back towards my foot, I'm going to reach back, grab the dumbbells one at a time and bring them back in front of me. So standard push-up, both hands flat on the ground. Then I'm going to lift the hips, reach back and grab the dumbbell on the opposite side, bring it forward. Then I'm going to do another push-up, holding onto the dumbbell with one hand, other hand is flat on the ground. Then I'm going to pick up this hand, reach back, grab the dumbbell with that's on the opposite side, bring it forward and put it down. Okay, so each rep is one push-up and then one pike toe tap, but instead of actually tapping our toes, we're just moving the dumbbells back and forth. So you're just lifting your hips up and pushing them back. So you want your body to be in basically like a perfect V if you can. So if your hamstrings are tight, you may need to have your knees bent, and that's absolutely fine. If you're able to straighten your legs, fantastic, but the more important thing is that you're pushing your hips up and back so that your back is flat. So press the ground away from you, hips are up and back. So if you are able to have your legs straight, great, go for it. But if your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees, that's fine. What's more important is that you're not allowing your back to round. Your back should be perfectly flat, okay? So if you are using dumbbells that are rounded on the ends, or if you are using household items, it's going to be basically the same exercise, but you're always going to do your push-ups with your hands flat on the floor of the ground. And then after your push-up, you're just going to move one dumbbell at a time. You'll move the dumbbells the same way. So you can start with your dumbbells a little bit wider apart so that you can place your hands inside of the dumbbells. Do your push-up with both hands flat on the ground. Then just pick up one dumbbell and move it back. Then another push-up with both hands flat on the ground. Move the dumbbell, same thing. Push up, reach back and move the dumbbell forward, set it down, let it go. Both hands flat on the ground, push up, and then reach back. Grab the other dumbbell, place it down, let go. Okay, so that is your modification for rounded dumbbells. Here is your equipment-free modification. You're just going to do pike toe tap push-ups. So, push up, reach back and tap the toes on the other side. Return to your starting position. Push up, other hand, reach back and tap the toes on the opposite side. Return to your starting position. Okay, so just again, make sure that you are keeping your back flat, not only for the pike toe tap, but for the push-ups. So make sure you're minding your form on the push-ups. Your head should be in line with your spine, shoulders away from the ears, your back should stay flat. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against the wall and just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall, that's where you want your head to be, and that's where you want your head to stay. So make sure you're not allowing your head to bob up and down while you're doing your push-ups. Make sure your shoulders are away from the ears. So spread out all 10 fingers, place your hands on the floor of the ground directly underneath your shoulders. Head is in line with the spine, so you're not allowing your head to drop down like this. You also are not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. Your head is in line with your spine, shoulders are away from the ears, so make sure that you are not sinking down into your shoulders like this. Press the ground away from you so that you are up as high as you can get in your plank pose. Your shoulders should be away from your ears and your back is flat. So make sure you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. Tighten up those abs, use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them lifted high. And then once you have found that beautiful plank pose and your body is in one perfectly gorgeous straight line from your heels to your shoulders, make sure that nothing moves, okay? So if this is your body from your heels to your shoulders, I want you to visualize that your body is literally like a plank of wood. So from here to here, from your heels to your shoulders, cannot move. You are just lowering this down to the ground and then pushing it back up, okay? But your head stays still, your body stays in one perfectly straight line. If you're doing knee push-ups, then your straight line is from your knees to your shoulders, but nothing else changes. Okay, so remember that any push-up variation you want to do is fine. Just make sure you're minding your form on the push-ups. Keep your body in one perfectly straight line the entire time. So think head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. Make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Make sure you are continuously using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. So you can do any push-up variation you want. And that goes for squats, lunges, and abs as well. And that goes for any workout during the course of this challenge. So on any given day, if you want to work out along with the video, you want to do the workout I'm doing, but there's just one exercise that is not going to work for you for whatever reason, you can always just swap out that one exercise with a different variation. So you could follow along with me today. You could do everything exactly the same way I'm doing it. But if this push-up variation is too difficult or you don't like it or it's too complicated, you lack balance, you lack coordination, for whatever reason, you can just be doing a different push-up variation while I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? And that goes for squats, that goes for lunges, that goes for abs. If there's just one or two of these exercises that isn't going to work for you, you can still follow along with the video, you can still work out with me, but you can just be doing a different variation of those one or two exercises while I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? But that is my push-up variation. So we're starting the workout and ending the workout with push-ups, and in between, we will do our squats, lunges, and abs. So let's move on to squats. Again, any squat variation you want to do is fine. Just make sure you're minding your form on the squats. So remember to keep your back flat and keep the weight in your heels. So I always like to think about tucking my shoulder blades into my back pockets. That way my shoulders are back and down. My chest is also lifted nice and high. And then the next thing I like to think about it is, of course, tightening up my abs. So your abs should always be engaged. Imagine someone's about to come along and punch you as hard as they can in your stomach and you're bracing for that impact. That is how tight your abs should be. And then before I think about squatting, I like to think about this as a hip hinge first. So pushing that booty back, think about trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. And at the same time, remember, those shoulder blades are tucked into the back pockets. That means your chest is lifted nice and high. So while you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, also think about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. That way your spine is elongated. That's going to help you achieve that flat back I was talking about earlier. And it's also going to help you keep all of the weight in your heels. Do you see I can actually pick up my toes? From here is where you can sink down into your squat. Then you're pressing the ground away from you to stand. So think about pressing your heels into the ground. That's just a basic air squat. And you can do air squats if you want, that's fine. Remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine. Just make sure that whatever squat variation you choose, you're minding your form, keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels. So you can do squats with or without weight. I am going to be holding on to just one dumbbell for the remaining 3 exercises. My push-ups are the only exercise where I'm using both my dumbbells. For squats, lunges, and abs, I'm holding on to just one dumbbell. So if you follow my workouts regularly, you're gonna be able to skip ahead a little bit now. I'll tell you right now, we're doing squat, hinge, fly, okay? So you know squat, hinge, fly, because this is one of my favorite exercises if you follow my workouts regularly. But what this is we are going to do a squat, and then instead of standing all the way up, we're first going to hinge at the hips, and we're going to do a bent over fly, okay? So we're gonna squat and then hinge and then fly, squat, hinge, fly. So it's a squat plus a bent over fly. So I'm going to be holding my dumbbell in one hand. I'm going to take my free hand and just place it on top of the other one. And I'm just holding my dumbbell in front of me like this. This is where my dumbbell is as I do my squat. So squat, and then instead of standing all the way, I'm going to hinge at the hips. So I'm going to let go with my hand that's on top, and I always just kind of tuck this hand behind my back so it's out of the way. You can have it on your hip, or you can have it out to the side, whatever's comfortable for you, but you're going to let go with the top hand. And then from this bent over position, you're going to do a fly. Then you'll put this free hand back on top of the other hand and hinge at the hips to stand. So squat, hinge, fly. So just keep repeating to yourself, squat, hinge, fly, squat, hinge, fly, squat, hinge at the hips, bend over, fly, hinge at the hips to stand, squat, hinge, and fly. Okay, then hinge at the hips to stand. That's it, super simple. So when you're doing your bent over fly, again, you want your back flat, the weight in your heels, so make sure you're pushing your booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. You're trying to get your torso parallel to the ground, but please work to your own level. Do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do, but that's what you're working towards. And from this position is where you want to do your fly. Make sure that you are not actively trying to straighten your legs. Do not lock out your knees like this. There should be a soft bend to your knees. You don't want straight legs, okay? When you're doing that bent over fly. And then you're just hinging at the hips to stand. So again, pressing your heels into the ground, hinging at the hips to stand. And again, just make sure your shoulder blades stay tucked into your back pockets, make sure your back stays flat, make sure the weight stays in your heels. But that's the exercise. So if you need an equipment-free substitution, I'm going to recommend just a good morning plus a squat. Super simple. So a good morning is just a hip hinge. So it's essentially the same exercise, but there's nothing, if you're not holding onto a weight, it makes no sense to do the bent over fly, so you're just gonna do a hip hinge plus a squat. So you can have your hands clasped behind your head if you want, or you can have your fingertips behind your ears, you can have your arms crossed in front of your chest, whatever's comfortable for you. I usually like to just have my fingertips behind my ears. But you're just going to do your good morning, so it's just a hip hinge, and then hinge to stand, and then just an air squat, okay? So hip hinge, and air squat. Good morning, and squat. Okay, that's your equipment-free substitution. So again, just make sure you're working to your own level. Don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. Just make sure you're keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels, keeping a soft bend to your knee as you come down into your good morning. Okay, do not lock out your knees. Don't try to straighten your legs. One more thing, if you're adding that fly with me, make sure when you do your bent over fly that you're not locking out your elbow either. Your arm should not be perfectly straight. You want a soft bend to your elbow as you do that bent over fly, okay? So you're here, there should be a soft bend to your elbow. You are not straightening your arm. Do not lock out your elbow for that bent over fly. But that's it, that is my squat variation. So now for my lunge variation. We are doing pivot lunges. So you are going to start with your feet wide apart like this. So wider than shoulder width apart. And now you are going to pick up the toes of one foot and point them towards the wall on that side, or whatever's on that side of you, okay? So then you are going to lunge in that direction. So you're going to start with your torso facing forward, and then what you're going to do is pick up the heel of this other foot and pivot so that you are facing this direction as you come down into your lunge. Then as you straighten your legs, you pivot this foot to face forward again. That's a pivot lunge. That's what I call it because I like saying pivot. So that's it, super simple. It's really kind of just a forward lunge, but we're just adding that little twist. Okay, so starting with your torso facing forward, the toes of one foot are facing you, the toes of the other foot are facing the wall. This foot is going to stay planted, and as I pivot to face this wall, I'm picking up the heel of this foot and pivoting on the ball of my foot to face this way. Then both knees come down into your lunge. You're going for about a 90-degree angle in this front knee. So you want this front knee more over the heel of your front foot as opposed to being out over the toes. So do your best to maintain about a 90-degree angle in this front knee. Make sure you're controlling the movement. If you are capable of tapping this back knee to the ground on your lunge and you want to, feel free, but control the movement. Don't bang your knee into the ground. And then straighten the legs and pivot that foot forward again, okay? And that's it, super simple. So that is your equipment-free substitution. If you're adding weight with me, we are going to add an overhead press. So you're going to start holding the weight up by your shoulder. You're going to pick up the opposite foot and pivot the toes to face this wall. So your feet are wider than shoulder width apart, and the toes that are pivoted to face the wall is going to be the foot that's on the opposite side of the dumbbell. Got it? Okay, so now as we pivot to do our lunge, you're going to tap the dumbbell down, and then as you pivot to face forward, you're going to bring the dumbbell back up to your shoulder, and then we're just going to add a little overhead press. So straighten your elbow, press the weight up overhead, and then bring the weight back down to your shoulder, controlling the movement on the way down, and that's it. Stay on the same leg. So pivot and lunge, tap the weight down, pivot to face forward as you stand, and then press the weight up overhead. Pivot, lunge, weight comes up to the shoulder, press the weight up overhead, return to your starting position. Okay, so that is my lunge variation. Again, any lunge variation you want to do is fine, but we are staying on the same side for squats and lunges. We're going to do half of our reps on one side and then switch and do the other half of our reps on the other side, okay? But for the entire set, for the first half of your squats and for the first half of your lunges, you're going to be staying on the same side. And then when you get to the halfway point, you'll switch sides, okay? So moving on to abs. That is our last exercise. So it's really just a single leg toe touch. I'm going to be adding a chest press, but if you're not holding on to anything, there's nothing to press up. So you're just going to do single leg toe touches. So you're going to start on your back on the mat with your legs extended straight and your arms extended up overhead. And then you're just going to lift one leg at a time, keeping the leg more or less straight. Sit up and tap the toes with the hand on the opposite side, and then return to your starting position, alternating sides. So now lift the other leg, straight up, sit up, and tap the toes with the hand on the opposite side. Okay, so opposite arm, opposite leg, alternating sides. And again, your legs are more or less straight, but if your hamstrings are tight, your legs might be bent a little bit, and that's fine. Your legs don't have to be exactly perfectly straight, but the point is that your leg is more or less straight. So it's not a crunch. You're not bending the knee in. Okay, you can do that if you want. You can do like a bicycle if you want, but I'm not doing that. I'm keeping my legs straight and just lifting the legs straight up. Okay, but again, remember that any ab exercise you want to do is fine. So you do whatever you want. I am going to be holding on to one dumbbell. So I'm just going to be holding my dumbbell like this, one hand on either side of the dumbbell. My dumbbell is going to be in front of my chest. And as I lift my leg, I'm just going to press the dumbbell straight up towards the toes and then bring the dumbbell back down to my chest as I lower the leg. So it's just a chest press. So with each leg lift, just pressing the weight straight up towards the toes. Super simple. Now, here's the tough part. I am going to be doubling all of my reps today except for push-ups. You do not have to double your reps if you don't want to. But here's how my workout is going to go. Here's the format. So the format is the same whether or not you're doubling your reps, but you'll just cut your reps in half for squats, lunges, and abs if you don't want to do extra reps. But here's the format. I'm starting with push-ups. So I'm doing 20 push-ups. The way we count those push-ups is you just count every push-up. So whether you have both hands on the dumbbells, or one hand on the dumbbell, one hand on the ground, or both hands on the ground, every push-up counts as one rep, okay? So 20 total push-ups. Then we're moving on to squats. So I'm going to do 40 squats, squat, hinge, fly, all 40 reps with my dumbbell in the same hand, doing my bent over fly to the same side. Then I'm going to switch hands. I'm going to hold the dumbbell in my opposite hand, and I'm going to do another 40 reps of squat, hinge, fly on the other side. So if you don't want to double your reps, you'll just do 20 reps on the right side and then 20 reps on the left side, and then move on to lunges. Lunges are going to work the same. I'm doubling my lunges so that I'm going to end up doing a total of 40 reps on each leg. So if you just want to do a total of 40 lunges on the day, that's all you need to do to meet your requirement to participate in the challenge. So I'm going to be doing 20 reps, or 40 reps on one side, and then I'm going to switch sides and do another 40 reps on the opposite leg. So if you don't want to double your lunges, same thing. You will do 20 reps on one side, then 20 reps on the other side. Okay, and then we're moving on to abs. So I'm double counting my abs. So I'm counting each 2 leg lifts as 1 rep, so that I will end up doing a total of 40 leg lifts on each leg. So it's going to be 80 total leg lifts, okay? So if you don't want to do that many reps of abs, I don't want to do that many reps of abs. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I'm going to be in tears, but I'm going to double count them. You don't have to double count them. You can count each leg lift as 1 rep, and then you'll just be alternating sides with each rep, and you'll do a total of 40 reps. Big stink bug. So you decide how many reps you want to do, but for the record, I am going to be doubling my reps of squats, lunges, and abs, but push-ups, I'm just doing a total of 40 reps. So after we finish squats, lunges, and abs, we'll just finish the workout with our final 20 push-ups, and then that's it. So hopefully that is all clear. Please remember that I do always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and of course I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you, so watch me do it. Read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need help with beginner modifications, I am right here, so ask questions if you have them. It is really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, but also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And hopefully you guys know by now that it is incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I am always here to help facilitate that. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also want to remind you, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to make sure that you are going at your own pace and minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. So if you are a lot faster than I am because you're in better shape than I am, or because you're not adding weight for whatever reason, great, be faster than I am, as long as you are not losing anything off of your form to get there. But if you are racing to stay ahead of me, either because you're competing with me and you're just trying to beat my score, or because you set a really ambitious time goal for yourself that you're kind of chasing, and your form starts to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down. It is always going to be safer and more effective to slow down and do your reps with excellent form than it is to race through the workout and allow your form to get sloppy. So please do not sacrifice your form for speed. And the same thing applies if you are slower than I am. If you are slower than I am, fantastic. Be slower than I am, be where you are, okay? As long as you are out here doing the reps with me, that is all I care about, that and that you're doing them with the proper form. So you would not even know that you're slower than I am unless you were out here putting in the work. So that's why I say if you're slower than I am, fantastic, because you're doing it, okay? So just to make sure that you are not racing to keep up with me at the expense of your form. If you're racing to keep up with me, and I'm not discouraging you from competing with me. I'm not discouraging you from setting an ambitious time goal. I'm not discouraging you from pushing yourself and going fast. What I'm saying is that if you're racing to stay ahead of me, or if you're racing to keep up with me and your form starts to get sloppy, you need to slow down. So if you fall behind, either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you're finding that you need longer rest breaks than what I'm taking, or you're needing rest breaks where I'm not taking them, that's fine. Just pause the video and come back when you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. We'll finish the workout together. I do want you to challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. You should only resume the workout once you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina so that you are capable of continuing with good form. So please, again, just make sure that you are going at your own pace. Make sure you are minding your form. Never sacrifice your form for speed, and make sure that you're working to your own level, meaning that you choose a set of dumbbells or household items that are an appropriate weight for you, nothing too heavy. It means that if the added weight becomes too taxing, put the dumbbells down and switch to the body weight versions of the workouts exercises that I showed you. It means if doubling your reps of squats, lunges, and abs is too taxing, don't double them. It might mean holding on to something for support for your squats. It might mean shortening up your range of motion for the lunges. It might mean doing a different ab exercise or putting your knees down for the push-ups. So please just be smart, be safe, use your common sense, listen to your body. Do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do. Apply beginner modifications as necessary. Rest as needed, and just do your best. Please remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you're ready to go ahead and begin the workout, gather whatever equipment you need. So for me, that's just a set of dumbbells and my mat. So again, you will be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. An exercise mat or a yoga mat is ideal, but if you don't have a mat, a towel should probably suffice. You could also probably use something like a throw pillow or a seat cushion or one of those kneeling pads for gardening purposes. If you don't have dumbbells, look for household items that will work, like maybe a couple of shampoo bottles or water bottles filled with some sort of weight. But again, if you don't have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't want to add weight to the workout, that's fine. You have your equipment-free substitutions. Pause the video, go get dressed, and then meet me right back here. We are going to start with a quick little 5-minute warm-up, and then we will get right into these day 39 reps. I can't believe it's day 39 already. So as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm-up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Now place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed. So you're not pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just allowing gravity to do all the work of gently stretching the opposite side of your neck by simply using the weight of your arm to do so. So now we are going to do the other side. Allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed as well. They should be down away from your ears. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall first towards your chest and then towards the opposite shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start feeling your head getting heavier and heavier, allowing your range of motion to increase so that eventually your entire torso is just kind of filling in front of you. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Next, we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So just roll your shoulders either towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter, but make sure that you're exploring your full range of motion. So make big circles with your shoulders. Think about kind of exaggerating the movement. Next, we're going to do arm circles. So we're going to start small with our arm circles. First, you're going to just extend your arms straight out to the sides. Start by making small circles either towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you are making the circles as big as you possibly can, really exploring your full range of motion. Now step your feet out so that they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend your knees and sweep your arms in front of you, and as you straighten your legs, you're reaching up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Each time you bend your knees, you're allowing your range of motion to increase, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep your feet planted right where they are. They should be wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to lunge side to side, nice and easy. And now add the arms. So now with each lunge, I'm just reaching my arm across my body. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now step the feet in. We're just going to march in place, super simple. Keep your knees low to start, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can towards your chest. Really get them up there. Feel a little stretch in your glutes. Now we're going to jog in place. So again, knees are low to start. But as the interval progresses, you're going to start gradually driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can towards your chest. And next is booty kicks. So keep jogging, but now with each step, you're just bringing your foot behind you. Really try to kick yourself in the booty cheek with your heel. For this next one, if you struggle with balance, you can hold on to the wall or a chair for support. If not, hands on the hips is fine. Transfer your weight into one foot. Pick up the other foot and just swing the leg front and back. Nice and loose here. We're just waking up those hip flexors. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and just swing the leg front and back. You can start low, and then as the interval progresses, if it feels comfortable, you can start expanding your range of motion, swinging that leg higher and higher. We're gonna switch legs again, put this foot down, extend the opposite leg out in front of you, and bring the leg around and behind. Each time you make this little semicircle with your leg, just start lifting the leg higher and higher. We're gonna finish with 2 hip circles. So drive the knee up towards your chest, and then just use your hand to guide it around. Other leg. Extend the opposite leg out in front, and make a semicircle with your leg, bringing the leg around and behind, lifting the leg higher and higher each time, and now 2 hip circles. Drive the knee up towards your chest, use your hand to guide it around. Finishing with a hamstring stretch, feet wide apart, hinge at the hips, and forward fold, keeping your back as flat as you can. So if you want to use the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch to assist you getting into this stretch, it's going to help you be able to keep your back a little bit flatter, and that's going to help you to isolate your hamstrings more effectively. So using the wall or a chair to assist you might make this stretch a little bit more accessible for you, might make it a little bit more comfortable. But that's it. That is our little 5-minute warm-up. So let's get right into the workout, starting with 20 push-ups. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So starting with both hands on the dumbbell. Now, push up, pick up one dumbbell and place it behind the foot on the opposite side. Repeat that on the other side. Now push up with both hands flat on the ground, reach back and grab one dumbbell, bring it forward, and repeat on the other side. So we're counting each push-up as 1 rep, so that was 4 reps. We're gonna repeat that little sequence another 4 times for a total of 20 push-ups, okay? Do your best. So that's 20 total reps of push-ups. That's all we're doing for now. Now we're moving on. We're gonna do all our squats, all our lunges, and all our abs. And then we'll finish up with another set of 20 push-ups. So I am doubling my reps of squats, lunges, and abs today. You do not have to double them if you don't want to. So I'm doing all of my first 40 squats on one side, and then I'm going to switch and do another 40 squats on the other side. So that's going to be 80 total squats for me. If you don't want to double your lunges, you'll do 20 on one side and then 20 on the other side. So just make sure you're switching at the halfway point. If you're not adding weight, then you don't have to worry about which side you're on. All of your reps are going to look the same. So if you're just doing like a good morning plus a squat, just do either 40 reps or 80 reps if you want to double them with me. I'm going to be doing a total of 80 squats on the day. So my squat exercise is a weighted sumo squat plus a bent over fly. So holding my dumbbell in one hand, free hand comes over the dumbbell. Now from here, I'm going to squat. Now I'm going to let go with this top hand, get it out of the way. I like to place my hand on my back, hinge at the hips, bend over fly. Then I'll bring this hand back down, place it on top of the other hand, hinge at the hips to stand. Staying on the same leg the entire time. So I'm going to do 40 reps on this leg and then 40 reps on the other leg, okay? So squat, hinge, fly. Hinge at the hips to stand. That's 2. Squat, hinge, fly. Now hinge at the hips to stand. That's 3. So keep going. You can do 20, or if you want to double these with me, you can do 40. All right, pick up my count of 3. That's 20. So you can move on, switch to the other leg. If you want to double your reps, but it's too difficult to do all 40 reps on the same leg, you can switch now. Do 20 reps on the other leg and then just repeat that before moving on to lunges. Break it up in whatever way you need to. I'm just gonna take a minute to breathe here, shake out the legs a little bit, and then I'm going to repeat what I just did. I'm going to do another 40 reps, or another 20 reps all on the same side. So picking up my count at 20, I'm on the same side still. I'm gonna do another 20 reps on this side. That's 30, 10 more. Alright, that's 40. I know it's a tough squat variation, and it's tough doubling the reps, and it's a burnout to do 40 reps all on the same side. Hang in there with me. Just gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to attempt to complete my first 20 reps without pausing to rest, but if I don't get there, I don't get there, that's fine. I'll pause and rest as needed. I'm gonna get the reps done one way or another, so that's the important part. So now, I've done 40 on one side, I'm gonna do 40 on the other, so I'm switching hands with my dumbbell. Same exercise. Squat, hinge, and fly. Then hinge at the hips to stand. That's 1, we're going to 40. So just keep repeating to yourself, squat, hinge, fly. Squat, hinge, fly. You can do 20 on this side or 40, just match whatever you did on the previous side and you're good. Here we go. 39 more. 1 down, 39 to go. that's 20 for me. Whose idea was it to double these? I refuse to accept responsibility for this. All right. So I have to do 20 more reps on this side. I'll attempt to do what I did on the other side. I'm pausing to rest at the halfway mark, and now I'll see if I can do another set of 10 before I need to pause and rest again. And then hopefully I can keep going and do all 20 without stopping, but we'll see. My goal is to at least get to 30 before I have to pause and rest again. But I'm gonna try to keep going if I can. So when you're ready, here we go, picking up my count at 20. That's 30. I know it's tough. I'm doing it with you. I know it's tough. Just 10 more. Last 5 reps. That's 36. 37. Squat, hinge, fly. 38. 2 more. That's 39. Last one. We made it. Squat, hinge, and fly. Hinge to stand. That's 40. So squats are done. Now, lunges, same thing. I'm doubling my lunges. So I'm going to do 40 reps on one side, then I'm going to switch and do another 40 reps on the other side. So if you do not want to double your lunges, you'll do 20 on one side, and then switch sides and do another 20 reps. So you'll end up doing a total of 40 lunges all day. I'm going to end up doing a total of 40 lunges on each leg. So make the decision that is best for you. Remember, you can do these without weight. Just eliminate the overhead press. That's absolutely fine. My legs are saying, can we do abs first? All right, let's get these lunges done. So bring the weight up towards your shoulder, just one weight. And then the same weight, the same leg that your weight is on is going to stay put. You're going to step out wide with the opposite foot. So feet are wide apart. And then the opposite foot as your dumbbell, you're going to point those toes out so that they're facing the wall over here. And now you're just going to pivot. So picking up the heel of the foot that's on the same side as the dumbbell as you pivot into a lunge and bring your dumbbell down to tap the ground, if you can do so without rounding your back. And then pivot these toes to face forward again. Bring the weight back up to your shoulder and press the weight up overhead. Then bring the weight back down to your shoulder with control so this foot stays planted the whole time. You're just pivoting on the ball of this foot as you come into your lunge, and then bring the dumbbell back up to your shoulder, overhead press. So that's 2. So pivot and lunge, tap the weight down. Now bring the weight up to your shoulder as you pivot to face forward, press the weight up overhead. That's 3. So keep going. I'm going to 40. You can do 20 if you want. Just gonna take a short rest break here. If you don't need to rest, you don't have to rest. I just need a minute. Shake out the legs a little bit. If you are not doubling your reps, you can move on to the other side. If you're doubling your reps with me, then we're going to do another 20 reps on the same side, and then we'll switch sides and do 40 reps on the other side, okay? So when you're ready, here we go. Feet wide apart, dumbbells in the same hand, same facing towards the same direction, and now pivot and lunge, overhead press. I feel more comfortable with this hand on my hip. You can have the hand up to the side or behind your back, whatever's comfortable for you. But that's 21, 22, 23, keep going. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and finish up all 40 reps without having to rest again. It's 35. Just 5 more. Keep pushing. Last one. And 40. So it'd also be a great kettlebell workout. You'd have to rework the push-ups a little bit, but that's super easy to do. Just do your push-up, move the kettlebell back, and then move it forward with your next rep, and then move it to the other side and repeat. But the squats, lunges, and abs, this would be great exercises to do if you have a kettlebell instead of using a dumbbell. I don't have a kettlebell, so I'm happy just using my dumbbell. All right, so we have completed 40 reps of lunges on one leg. Now we're going to switch legs. So holding the dumbbell in the opposite hand, bring the dumbbell up to your shoulder, step the feet out wide. Now, the foot that's on the opposite side of the dumbbell is going to pivot to face the wall. I like my hand on my hip. You can have it up to the side, behind your back, wherever's comfortable for you. But now we're going to pivot to face this way, tap the weight down, and then pivot to face forward. Bring the weight back up to your shoulder, press the weight up overhead, bring the weight back down to your shoulder, and that's 1. So pivot and lunge, pivot to face forward, overhead press, that's 2. You can do 20 or 40, do your best. That's 20 for me. So if you're not doubling your reps of lunges, you're done. You can move on to abs. I'm going to do another 20 reps on that leg, same leg. I'm not going to the point of failure. I could have kept going, like if it was a set of 25 or 30, I probably would have just kept pushing through, but since I'm pacing myself to do 40 reps, and this is where I stopped to take a break on the first leg, I'm going to attempt to do what I did on the first leg and see if I can finish up with my final 20 reps more or less unbroken. But if I have to pause and rest, I will. If you need a longer rest break, pause the video. Come back when you're ready. Let's finish up these final 20 lunges, and then we'll move on to abs. That's 30. 10 more. That's 35. Just 5 more. Push. It's 39, last one. And that's 40. So that's 80 total squats and 80 total lunges. Nicely done. Moving on to abs. So I'm basically doing a single leg toe touch, but I'm not going to actually be touching my toes because I'm going to be holding onto my dumbbell. So I'm going to add a chest press. So it's a single leg lift with a chest press. So if you're not holding onto anything for weight, you can just reach up and tap the toes with the hand on the opposite side. And again, I'm going to be double counting these. So I'm going to count each 2 leg raises as 1 rep, so that I'll do a total of 40 reps, but it's actually going to be a total of 80 leg raises. So you can count each leg raise as 1 rep, and then just double the amount of reps if you want to go to 80 with me, or you can just do 40 total leg raises if you don't want to double your abs. I do not want to double my abs, but I'm committed. All right, get ready to see me cry. So you're starting with your legs extended straight. If you're not adding weight, you can have your arms extended overhead. If you are adding weight, you're just going to hold your weight in front of your chest. And now you're going to lift 1 leg at a time. And as you lift the leg, you're bringing the dumbbell up towards the toes. Lower the leg and bring the dumbbell back down to your chest, and repeat on the other side. Lift the leg, bring the dumbbell up towards your toes, lower the leg, and bring the weight back down to your chest. So I'm counting that as 1 rep. If you don't want to double count them, that can be 2 reps, okay? But I'm counting each 2 leg raises as 1 rep. So, I don't want to do this. All right, the sooner we do it, the sooner it's over. But I will be crying very shortly. All right, so lift the leg, chest press, lower the leg, bring the weight back down to your chest, and now lift the opposite leg, bring the dumbbell up towards the foot. That's 2 reps. So including the first one, so that was 1 more rep. So I've done 2 all day. So now lift the leg, bring the weight up towards the toes, lower the leg, bring the weight back down towards the chest, repeat on the other side. That's my 3rd rep, okay? So I have to do that another, 37 times. Wish me luck. I'm gonna zip it because this is hard enough without talking through it. So do your best. You can do 20 of these or 40. It's up to you. So for me, that's 10, which means that I'm only 25% of the way through with abs. But if you're not double counting them, then you've done 20 reps and you're already halfway there, okay? So also I'm keeping my shoulder blades up off the mat the whole time, and I'm keeping both of my heels elevated the whole time to make it a little bit more difficult, but you can keep one heel on the ground to make it easier, and you can keep your shoulder blades on the ground to make it on the mat to make it easier. That's up to you. So I'm gonna pick up my count at 10, and I'm gonna see if I can get to 20 before I have to stop and cry. Wish me luck. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, oh my God, 19, I'm in pain, that's 20. If I didn't have the genius idea of double counting these, I would be done with abs already. So you don't have to continue if you don't want to. If you are also on the verge of tears, you can move on to push-ups. We just have to finish up with our final 20 push-ups. But if you want to keep torturing yourself with me, we're going to do all of that again, okay? So double counting them, and we're going to go to 40. So I don't think I can do unbroken sets of 10 anymore, so I'll probably just see about doing like 4 sets of 5 from here on out, but I'll get the reps done. So break them up however you need to. When you're ready, here we go. Picking up my count at 20. So bad. All right, that's 25. Oh, my abs would like a word with me. And it's not a kind word. All right, I'm going to just continue with sets of 5 for as long as I can. If I can just do that 3 more times, I'm good. All right, picking up my count at 25. Rest longer if you need to. That's 30. Just 2 more little mini baby sets of 5. I can do a set of 5. All right. If I can't, I'll pause and rest. But I'm picking up my count of 30. So I'm gonna try to do another set of 5 without stopping if I can. That's 35. I just have to do 1 more little set of 5, and then mercifully, abs will be done. Squats, lunges, and abs will be done. So let's go ahead and push really, really hard. Let's finish up with these final 5 reps of abs, and then all we have to do is do 1 more set of push-ups, and then we're done. We got this. 36, 37, 38, 39, last one. Oh, that's 40. Oh, all right. Nothing makes me cry quite like abs. All right, but they're done. So now, God, this is over 30 minutes already. Well, that's what I get for doubling all of my reps, except push-ups. So all we have left to do is just 20 more push-ups. So you don't have to do the same push-up variation I'm doing, and you don't even have to do the same push-up variation you did to start the workout. Just do 20 reps of push-ups. It doesn't matter what push-up variation you do. So you can ditch the weights this time. You can go to your knees, whatever you need to do. I'm doing the same push-up variation I started the workout with. So it's gonna be 5 little sets of that circuit, 20 total push-ups. So just count push-ups. Here we go when you're ready. That's 20. So that's our 40th push-up on the day. That ended up taking me a total of 34 minutes and 56 seconds. Okay, so again, for the second time now, I finished the video and then I put everything away, went inside to start editing the video and realized that I forgot to do my bonus set of 10 push-ups. So let's just do them now. I'll put this in the right spot in the video. So just know that this is a tradition that dates back to year 1 of the challenge. Every year of the challenge, for days 36, 37, 38, and 39, we do an additional 10 reps of push-ups after the workout. The additional push-ups are completely optional. There is a very good reason why we do this. I'm annoyed that this is the second time now I have forgotten to do it during the workout and realized after. So I just want to get them done. I'm not going to get into the reason why we do this now. I've been planning on explaining this all on day 40 of the challenge. So for right now, just know that this is completely optional, but if you would like to join me, I'm just going to do an extra set of 10 push-ups. It can be any push-up variation you want. I always just do 10 more reps of whatever push-up variation we were doing during the workout. But today I'm just gonna do them without the added weight. So during the workout, I was moving the weights back and forth. I'm just gonna do pike toe tap push-ups. This is completely optional. So if you do not want to do these push-ups with me, take another minute to rest. But if you do want to join me, it can be any push-up variation you want. Just a bonus set of 10 push-ups. Let's go ahead and get these done as soon as you're ready. So I'm just doing pike toe tap push-ups. So push up, reach back and tap the toes on the opposite side, alternating sides with each rep. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. All right. So that's my bonus set of 10 push-ups. I'm going to insert this into the video where it should have gone in the first place. So now back to our regularly scheduled programming. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, and especially no workout during this challenge is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. You do not have to include a push-up with your bonus burpee if you don't want to, but the bonus burpee itself is mandatory. It is what completes the workout, so it's like an exclamation point at the end of the workout. It's a little celebration that we got these reps done today, and a pat on the back for sticking with the challenge for yet another day. So as soon as you're ready, let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. Here we go. This is our final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. Nicely done. That was actually a really tough workout. It ended up taking me a total of 34 minutes and 56 seconds. So if you timed yourself and you feel comfortable doing so, please feel free to leave me a comment with your score. Let me know how long it took you. So let's go ahead and do a quick cool down together. You just want to keep moving while you allow your heart rate to come down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. So you can pace back and forth, shake out the arms, shake out the legs a little bit. Let's do a shoulder stretch. So bringing one arm across your body, use your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and make sure that your shoulder is relaxed. If your shoulder is tense and hunched up by your ear, you're not going to be able to stretch it effectively. And this is a really nice stretch to do after all those push-ups. So relax the arm, relax the shoulder. Make sure that you're continuing to move the whole time while we're doing these stretches. Keep moving and keep focusing on slowing down your breathing. So you do that by really concentrating on feeling your diaphragm being pulled down as you inhale. As you inhale, think about breathing all the way down to your belly button. Allow your rib cage to physically expand and visualize filling up your entire torso with air. And then use your diaphragm to slowly control the air as you exhale. Let's get the other shoulder. So bringing the opposite arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest, making sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, making sure your shoulder is relaxed. Keep moving. So you can see I'm kind of pacing back and forth, shaking out the legs. You can shift your weight from foot to foot, but keep moving and keep focusing on your breathing. So slow down your breathing by breathing all the way down to your belly button as you inhale. Feel your diaphragm being pulled down, making as much space as possible for that inhale, and then using your diaphragm to control the air as you slowly exhale. Let's take one more nice deep breath here. Allow your rib cage to physically expand. If I have my hands on your rib cage, my hands should move. And you're visualizing filling up your entire torso with air as you inhale. Shake it out. Let's do a tricep stretch next. So bend one elbow. I don't know why I'm doing everything opposite of the way I usually do it today. That's so weird. I usually do this hand first, right? I did my shoulder stretch opposite of the way I normally do it, and I just went to do the same thing with my tricep stretch. It doesn't matter what side you do. It's just weird that I always start with the same side, but today I'm wanting to start with the other side for some reason. I don't know what that is, but regardless of which arm you want to start with, doesn't matter. Just bend one elbow, place your hand on the elbow, and then gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that the fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. So you want to avoid having your free hand hanging out up here somewhere by your shoulder. Point the fingers straight down at the ground as you gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feel that really nice stretch in your triceps. This is another one that just feels so good after all those push-ups. Keep moving, just kind of shaking out my legs. If you're still breathing heavily, it might feel better to pace, but you can just shift your weight from foot to foot. Just keep moving and keep focusing on your breath. So shake it out. Let's get the other arm. So bending your other elbow, place your hand on the elbow, and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Fingers fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. Feel that really nice stretch in your triceps. Keep moving. You can pace back and forth. Shake out the legs. You can just shift your weight from foot to foot and keep focusing on your breath. So let's take a couple more nice deep breaths here. Inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Slow, controlled exhale. Really engage your diaphragm. One more. Filling up your entire torso with air on that inhale, and then a slow, controlled exhale. Coming out. Shake out the arms. We're going to finish with a quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you can hold on to the wall or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support, like your kitchen counter, dining room table, the arm of your couch, something like that. You're going to bend one knee, bring the foot behind you and reach back. Grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding on to something for support. If you're not holding on to anything for support, you can just reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. And now press your heel into your booty cheek. I mean, really, really press it in there. And as you're doing that, tilt your pelvis forward. So think about kind of tucking your booty underneath you, trying to touch your spine with your belly button. As soon as you combine both of those two elements, you're going to feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscles as you isolate them more effectively, but I also want you to feel that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So make sure that as you're pressing your heel into your booty cheek, you're continuously tilting that pelvis forward. Let's take one more deep breath here, inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Slow, controlled exhale, coming out. Shake out the legs. Let's get the other side. So bending the opposite knee, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding on to something for support. If you are not holding on to anything for support, you'll reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you're doing that, you're tilting your pelvis forward. So tuck the booty underneath you, suck that belly button all the way back towards your spine. Feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscles. Feel that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So as you're pressing your heel into your booty cheek, make sure you're continuing to tilt your pelvis forward. And as you're tilting your pelvis forward, you're continuing to press that heel into the booty cheek. Let's take one more nice deep breath here. So one more time, inhaling all the way down to your belly button. Fill up that entire torso with air. Use the diaphragm to control the exhale. And come out. One last time, shake out the legs, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit, and that's it. That is our little cool down. So if you're still breathing heavily, if your heart rate is still elevated, just continue to pace around a little more. I'm going to move directly onto cardio. So I have the lovely Victoria here with me again today. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with these pretty light pink metallic handles. If you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I am going to reset my timer, my interval timer for 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals times 40 rounds. That's 20 minutes. So I'm going to get some music going and I am going to do 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. And then I will go ahead and do my stretching, have my shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. So this is how I do the challenge every year. Now, if this is your first day doing the challenge, then obviously whether or not you do cardio today, you're not going to notice a huge difference by tomorrow. But if you are planning on going back to the beginning and starting the challenge on day one, just know that this is how I do the challenge every year. And so I strongly recommend that you consider tacking on an additional 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after the workouts. I do it after every single workout, but I know that that's not realistic for everyone. I know not everyone has the time or the ability to do that. But if you can find at least 2 or 3 days a week to add some additional cardio after the workout, I just know that you're going to be so much happier with your results on day 40 of the challenge if you're going to do all 40 days of the challenge, because as you're building that strength and as you're improving your stamina, you're going to start seeing results faster. So if your goal with this challenge is to get yourself in shape, improve your stamina, maybe you want to lose weight, adding on 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after the workouts is just going to help to accelerate that process for you. And when you can start to see the results of all your hard work, it's really motivating. It's going to make it easier to find the motivation to stick with the challenge. First of all, because as you're getting stronger and as your stamina is improving, the workouts themselves are going to start to get easier for you. So that means that if you were really struggling to get the workouts done in week 1 or week 2, by weeks 3 and 4 and 5, they're going to start to get easier. You're going to start to be able to get them done faster. And so it's going to be less of a burden doing these reps every day. It's going to be less of a time commitment. Once you know that the workout is not going to be as strenuous for you or as difficult or take as long as it did in week 1 or week 2, it's going to be a lot easier to motivate yourself to get your reps done each day. So it's going to increase the likelihood that you're able to stick with the challenge for all 40 days. But also just being able to see the results of your hard work. Once you see that what you're doing is working, it makes you want to keep doing what you're doing because you're getting closer to your goals. You're seeing yourself get stronger and leaner. Maybe your clothes are starting to fit differently. Maybe you're feeling that you have improved stamina. So it can be anything you want. For me, 9 times out of 10, the additional cardio is 20 minutes of interval jump rope. Sometimes I might decide to go for a jog. If it's a nice day out and I have time, I'll do a nice long hike. Those are all great options. But it can be anything you want for cardio. So if you have a bike, you could go for a bike ride. If you have access to a pool, swimming is amazing cardio. So if you live close to a body of water and weather is permitting, a swim is a great idea. Or if you have access to something like a treadmill or an exercise bike or an elliptical or Stairmaster, you can hop on one of those for 20 to 30 minutes more if you want to. If you have a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. Or anywhere there's steps. Up and down the steps is another great option. So if you have stairs in your home or your apartment complex, or maybe you took your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail today and there's steps there, up and down the steps, anywhere there's steps is a great option. So maybe you have access to the field at your local high school, you could do up and down the bleachers, or you could jog around the track, you could combine them. All right, so 2 to 3 days a week, at least, if you can, strongly recommended. The additional cardio is not required. You don't have to do the additional cardio on any given day of the challenge, but it's the way I do the challenge every year. So I'm just sharing it with you. I do additional cardio after every single workout, but if you can find just 2 to 3 days a week at least to tack on 20 to 30 minutes of additional moderate paced cardio after the workouts, I just know that you're going to be so much happier with your results on day 40 of the challenge. And this challenge is long and it's tough, and we work hard every year to get this done. So I want everybody to be really, really happy with their results on day 40. So once more, the additional cardio is not required. It is not mandatory. It is not officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. Also, very strongly recommended is that you are taking the time to stretch every single day. If you have time to do your stretching right now, immediately after the workout or immediately after your cardio, if you're adding cardio, that's always going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm already. But if you don't have time to stretch right now, that's fine. It doesn't matter what time of day you do your stretching, just as long as you're getting it done. It's really important that you're taking the time to stretch every day, but especially so if you are doing this challenge with me, and here's why. There are 3 main reasons why I feel like stretching every day is super important, and the first reason is that it is going to help to alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after the workouts. So if you're going to be doing this entire challenge with me, the goal, again, is to do all 40 days of the challenge from day 1 through day 40. And one of the main objectives of this challenge is to establish a habit of daily exercise. And you do that through consistent effort. And that is why we are doing 6 workouts in a row every single week of the challenge. from Monday through Saturday of every single week, 6 workouts in a row. So that the goal is by day 40, you will have firmly established that habit of daily exercise, and then once the challenge is over, you'll continue making daily exercise a part of your routine. So if you are sore, and if you're doing the challenge with me and daily exercise is something new to you, then it's very likely that you're going to be experiencing muscle soreness. And you're going to have to work through it to a degree, so anything you can do to alleviate that is going to make the challenge easier. It's going to make it easier to find the motivation to stick with it. If we do a particularly tough workout, and then the next day you're so sore you can't even move, it's going to be next to impossible to find the motivation to do your reps that day. But if you had taken the time to stretch after that workout, then yeah, you might still be feeling sore the next day, but if you had stretched, you could have alleviated some of that muscle soreness. You'd be a little less uncomfortable. Maybe you wouldn't be 100%, you might still be sore, but you'd be able to move, and you'd be more likely to say, okay, I'm not 100%, but I can do it. I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna get my reps done for today. So it's really important to make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day, because even if you're not doing the challenge, nobody wants to walk around feeling sore, but if you're doing the challenge with me, it's going to increase the likelihood that you are able to stick with it and complete all 40 days of the challenge if you take the time to stretch and alleviate some of that muscle soreness that you might be experiencing. The second reason that it is so important to stretch every day is because you're going to reduce your risk of injury moving forward. The 2 most important things you can do to reduce your risk of injury when you're doing home workouts, whether you're doing this challenge or not, is number 1, make sure that you're doing the exercises correctly. That is why I always take time to demonstrate and explain each exercise before the workout, and I always tell you if you have any questions about how to do the exercises with the correct form to ask, because you really need to understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout so that you reduce your risk of injury. And the second most important thing that you can do to reduce your risk of injury is taking the time to stretch after the workout every single day. Stretching every day, you're training your muscles to be generally more pliable, more flexible, obviously, so you're going to see your range of motion increase as you're doing the exercises, and it's just going to lessen the likelihood that you're going to strain something or pull a muscle during one of the workouts. Your muscles are going to be kind of more resilient. So that is important even if you're not doing the challenge, because who wants to be injured? I don't want anyone getting injured. But again, if you're doing this challenge with me, the goal is to do all 40 days of the challenge. So if you injure yourself and it's something you can't work through, then you're going to have to sit out at least a few days while you allow your body to recover. And the goal, again, is to establish a habit of daily exercise, and we do that through consistent effort. But if you have to sit out a few days because you've become injured, then all of that momentum that we're working so hard to build is just going to come to a screeching halt, and it's going to make it that much more difficult to establish that habit of daily exercise. And not only that, but it can be really discouraging. So if you really made that commitment, you did what I said, you used decisive language, and you said, I'm doing this challenge, I'm doing all 40 days, I'm gonna do day 1 through day 40, and I'm never gonna miss a day. But then you become injured and you have to miss a day. First of all, if you are injured, please rest. Okay, don't push your body into doing something that it's not ready to do. So if you're not well and it's not a good idea to do your reps that day, obviously, then you're going to have to miss a few days. But I understand that that can be really discouraging, because did you fail? I mean, yes. Honestly, the word fail means something, and if you set out to do all 40 days of the challenge and you didn't do all 40 days, then okay, you failed. Now, the trick is to not let that become an indictment of your self-worth as a human being. Remember, I said there's a big mental health aspect to this challenge, and that fits right into one of the main objectives of this challenge, which is combating that negative self-talk. So here's what can happen. Let's say you do days 1 through 30, and then we're doing the workout on day 30 and you injure yourself. And so days 31 through 40, you're injured, or 31 through, let's say 31 through 33, you're injured and you can't do it. Maybe by day 34, you're feeling better, but at that point, you're already kind of down on yourself, you're beating yourself up, and you have this negative self-talk going on in your head saying, well, you failed, okay? You're a failure. You tried to do a 40 days and you got hurt, so what's the point in continuing now? You already failed, so it's over. That is the antithesis of everything that this challenge is meant to be about. So if you are still injured by day 40, then fine. You did 30 days of the challenge and that was everything you could do. So feel good about what you got done. And then next year you can do the challenge again and make it your goal to do more than 30 days of the challenge. But if you're feeling well enough to get back into the workouts by day 33 or day 34, then start back up again. Join the challenge again. You can pick up where you left off, or you can jump back in on day 33 or day 34. But get over that negativity in your head that's telling you, well, you failed, so there's no sense in continuing. Okay? Failure happens, and that's okay. It's never what you're aiming to do. So I understand it can be frustrating, and I understand that it can be discouraging. And so I'm not saying to stifle those emotions. It's normal and natural to feel them. The point is that you don't want to let it become an indictment of your self-worth as a human being, okay? You're still doing an amazing job. If you're doing every day of the challenge that you can, that's amazing. So embrace that. If you did 30 days of the challenge, that's 30 days more than most people, and you know, that's something. 30 days of a challenge, it's a tough challenge. That's a lot of reps. So feel good about what you got done. You know, even if you do every single rep with picture perfect form, and even if you take the time to stretch every single day after your workouts, there are no guarantees. You may still become injured. So accept that that's a possibility, and if it happens, do what you need to do. Rest, recover, and then when you're ready to join the challenge again, just jump back in. But the point is that you want to do whatever you can to reduce your risk of injury so that you increase the likelihood that you will be able to stick with the challenge and complete all 40 days. So make sure you're doing your reps with the proper form, and make sure that you are taking the time to stretch after every single workout. And the third most important reason to take the time to stretch every day is because, of course, you're going to improve your flexibility. And flexibility is a really important aspect of your overall fitness level that I think tends to be overlooked sometimes and maybe undervalued. But if you are taking the time to do these 160 reps with me every single day, and you're taking 2 or 3 days a week at least to tack on 20 to 30 minutes or more of additional moderate paced cardio after as many of the workouts as you can, at least 2 to 3 days a week if you can, to improve your stamina, why not take the time to stretch every day to improve your flexibility while you're at it? It just makes the challenge so much more well-rounded. And it just is so important, especially as you're aging, to make sure that you are staying mobile. So increasing your flexibility is going to improve your mobility as well. It's going to be easier to move. It's going to improve your quality of life, even if you're not doing the challenge with me, and even if you're not doing home workouts. It's just really important to make sure that you keep your muscles pliable. It is just going to help you stay mobile, and trust me, your future self will thank you for prioritizing your flexibility and your mobility now. So please make sure that you are taking the time to stretch every day. Just please make sure that you are doing so safely. So again, right now your muscles are nice and warm. This is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done. But if you want to put off your stretching until later on in the day, that's absolutely fine. Just remember that if you do that, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you'll need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you jump into your stretching routine. You never want to begin stretching with cold muscles, because your muscles need to be warm in order for them to be pliable so that you can stretch them safely and effectively. But that's it. That is officially a wrap on day 39 of this challenge, which is absolutely amazing. The year 7 challenge is pretty much complete. This is our last workout of the challenge. So tomorrow is day 40. Tomorrow, all we're going to do is repeat our day 1 workout. So hopefully you made a note somewhere of your score from day 1 of the challenge. Your goal tomorrow is going to be to beat that score. So that was your baseline challenge. Our day one workout, that was your baseline challenge. That's where you were at the start of the challenge. And now after 40 days of consistent effort, we're going to see how much we have all improved, how much stronger and how much faster we have gotten. So wherever you made a note of your day one score, make sure you find that before tomorrow so that you have a clear goal in mind. You know the score that you're trying to beat. And then all we're going to do tomorrow is super simple. It's just 40 air squats, 40 reverse lunges, 40 sit-ups and 40 push-ups, and that's it. Plus our bonus burpee, of course. So get ready, that is tomorrow. But again, that's it. That is officially a wrap on day 39. So the challenge is almost complete. I can't believe we are almost through year 7 of this challenge. Amazing. So if you did this day 39 workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. And if you did the challenge with me this year, thank you so much. Even if you haven't been doing the challenge with me, but you watched this video, this is the first you're hearing about the challenge, and you've decided that you're going to do the challenge with me, maybe starting next week, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you just did the first 20 days of the challenge with me, thank you. If you're just doing the final 20 days of the challenge with me, thank you. If you're doing all 180 reps every day, if you're doing 40 reps a day or 20 reps a day, if you're doing every other day of the challenge, thank you, thank you, thank you. Every year, I am so grateful for every single one of you who does this challenge with me. This is so much work. Every year, I forget how much work this is, putting this challenge together and sharing a new workout video every single day. And every single year when I do it, it's just so rewarding when we finally complete the challenge. And I'm always so grateful for everyone who does it with me. But even if you're not doing the challenge with me, thank you for doing today's workout with me. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. You guys have no idea. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please just know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything was unclear about the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, how you can customize and modify the format if you don't want to do all of those extra reps. If you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing for today's workout, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need to see beginner modifications, I am right here, so please ask questions if you have them. If you have any questions about the challenge, this is the first you're hearing about the challenge and you still have questions about how it works. If you're unsure about what your fitness level is and which playlist you should be following along with, if you're not sure where to begin, ask questions, okay? I will be here to guide you through the challenge even if you're not starting until next week and my challenge is already complete. And if you know anyone else who might be interested in joining the challenge, please feel free to share this workout with them, but also please feel free to share any or all of the 3 playlists with them. Remember, we have a beginner playlist, an intermediate playlist, and an advanced playlist. So this challenge is suitable for all fitness levels. So please feel free to share any or all of the playlists. Or if you just know someone who may not want to do the challenge, but they're just looking to get started with home workouts, I have over 1,000 free at-home original workouts that you can choose from on my channel. But the challenge is the thing that I really pour the most of my heart and soul into every year. So the more people I have doing the challenge with me every year, the happier I am. So please feel free to share. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 40. Bye.